Hey, welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome back. We just heard news, breaking news in Memphis. Sauce Walka and his partner get hit up, man. It was all a back door. As soon as they walked out the building, the dudes was already waiting. They should have known them dudes was following them, man. These rappers, the street guys was trying to get these rappers because they didn't check in. It's the same thing Young Dolph was trying to tell all the artists, that they should be able to do exactly what they want when they go through Memphis. But it turns out that the dudes that came and hit them up, they was already from the other side. They saying that CMG, Yo Gotti, they just asked him about it. He didn't want to speak. Now they got the whole crew out there. They taped up the whole scene. Basically, as soon as Sauce Walka and them walked out of that building, it was a car already waiting. And the dudes in the car had ski mask on. When you see somebody with the Pooh Shiesty mask on and they pulling up in a car, that's when you should already be on self-defense mode to either don't go out that door, or if you do go out, make sure you're going to get the drop on them first, because you should already be peeping. They could have been, for some reason, the security guards was lacking. They should have known that it was a suspicious activity car waiting in the parking lot, in the corner and everything like that. So that way, you don't really see them as soon as you walk out the door, unless you turn your head to the left or to the right. That's how they were. They were not straight ahead of the door. They was on one side of the door and the other dude was on the other side of the door. And so basically, when Sauce Walka and his partner walk out, they gotta at least 2 to 3 steps before they look to the right and see the guys. That's how they got hit up so quick. As soon as they walked out, it was like left step, right step, then they went down, man. And it's a sad situation because this keep on happening in Memphis, especially, man. It's becoming the most dangerous city in the whole entire country ever since Young Dolph got hit up. Then you got blacyoungsta's brother. Then you got the whole thing that happened with all of the PRE, all of the CMG members. It was so much things happened in the last 3-4 years in Memphis, and these rappers should have known that if they go to Memphis, they gotta have somebody with them that knows the area. But the thing with this situation is that Sauce Walka, he has somebody that was showing him around. Like, they went to do specific things. They went to the studio. They went to go pay tribute to Young Dolph and everything like that. But you got to understand that it's already beef going on between these rap groups, especially when you from another city. Like, people from Memphis, they clicked up with people from Dallas. But it's not the same story when a rapper from Houston comes in. You see, when the dude, because they from Houston, and Jay Prince and them make everybody check in Houston, they gave them a taste of their own medicine. They was like, these Houston dudes always tell us that we got to check in as mandatory, or else they're going to try to do us like they did Takeoff. But so now when Sauce Walka, since he one of the biggest Houston artists right now, since he came to Memphis with his crew and everything like that, and, you know, they ooh-wee, yelling this and that, and they already know the situation that happened in L.A. when the dude tried to rob him, so they knew they couldn't just rob Sauce Walka. So they were like, okay, if he's not checking in like how we all got to check in Houston, then they were like, we're going to press him, we're going to pull up on him and take his temperature or something like that. And when they realized that his partner wasn't going for nothing, he wasn't going to let them, he was going to go out fighting to the end. Sauce Walka's partner, he went out fighting to the end, man. He gave him all that he could. He did everything that he could. And, you know, it kept Sauce Walka to be able to survive through this, man. I want to send my condolences right now to the families of the ones from, you know, everybody that got hit up there. Everybody. They saying it was Peso. They saying it was all the dudes that was with Sauce Walka. He had a whole entourage. You know, the guys that be with him in the Johnny Dang store. They had grills on. They had Cuban chains with pendants, $250,000 chains. And they walking around Memphis with all this money on it. Millions of dollars worth of jewelry, the cars, the fancy clothes, the money in their pocket, 4 pockets full. So people was hungry in Memphis. People was like, man, it's like they're waving a steak in front of a hungry, like, you know, animal basically. And it's a sad situation that it had to happen like this, man. I want to say RIP right now to Sauce Walka, his partner, And, Sauce Walka, he's in critical condition, but his partner did not make it out. And so this is why we want to send our condolences. This is why everybody go ahead and comment RIPs. Let me know where y'all from, who you rocking with. Are you a Sauce Walka fan? Are you a Young Dolph fan? What you think about the situation in Memphis, where people now got to check in Memphis and got to move differently, because they showing in Memphis is still a war zone, man. It don't matter who you are, how much you got. If you a popular rapper, anybody could get it in Memphis. Them folks is hungry. Them folks is looking for rappers. They know that's the last chance. If Sauce Walka and them left without the street dudes getting upon them, they would have felt like Memphis lost the opportunity for some goons to come up on a lick. And it's a sad world we live in, that's the way that people got to think, man. And this is why Young Dolph was trying to guide Key Glock and all these other artists so that they didn't fall down the same trap, because this was all what was going on with Yo Gotti's crew. They was out robbing people. You saw what happened with Lil Migo. You saw what happened with everybody, including ESTG and all them guys. The feds was watching them. Them dudes hungry. They losing money. Yo Gotti's taking 95% of the cut. So when somebody like Sauce Walka come into town with hundreds of thousands of dollars, cash, jewelry, millions, when you total it up, that's when them dudes jumped on the interstate and they started following them. They watched every move they made. They watched them shop at that one mall. They went to Frazier, Orange Mound. They went to Castalia. They went to the cookie shop. And right after they left the cookie shop, they were like, okay, that's when the street dudes was like, oh, they on Young Dolph's side. Because you got to remember, the dudes that was on Young Dolph's team and crew, they wouldn't have did this, because they already lost too much. They already know not to try to bring another man down. So a lot of the people, allegedly, they saying that it could have allegedly been the CMG affiliates. So now this is why they're bringing on a RICO charge on CMG. And because Yo Gotti is running it, and, he already had his name thrown mixed in because of the beef he had with Young Dolph. And now you see that it's happening to more and more people. They're going to set an example out of him, man. They're going to set an example out of the guys who did this. They're out looking for him right now. The suspects was on the run. They already looked at the footage, and they seen where the guys ran off to. They seen where the car came from. They know what neighborhood they dumped the car off in. They know where they ran off to hide. A lot of the dudes, one of the dudes, he's hiding out at his baby mama's apartment. He's hiding, and the other guy, he's hiding out at his girlfriend's apartment. Both these dudes was picked up on Ring camera footage, matching the description, running into these apartments, and they all doorbell cameras. So the feds, they're going to quickly snatch these dudes up. They're going to put a reward out, $50,000 to bring the information to get these dudes caught up. Unless the streets get them first. A lot of time, the streets end up getting justice before somebody calls them in and basically tries to collect on that reward. We saw what happened last time. They put a $15,000 reward for the people to bring and take down the guys who did it to Young Dolph. And so now, because $15,000 wasn't enough, that's why a lot of people wasn't coming forward to actually try to get the Dolph case solved. Once it was a lot more on the table, that's when people started to come forward with different types of footages and, all these other, basically when they caught the first dude, he told on the second guy. The second guy did a, wiretap. He set up the phone calls on the third guy. The third guy did a sting operation for the fourth guy, and the fourth guy is the informant for the fifth. And they getting everybody up the ladder all the way until they find out who's the dudes, who's the guys that put the hit out on Sauce Walka, who's the ones that told these youngins, the goons, to go out there and try to hit the lick or try to take him out or whatever it was. And so they're saying that it was because of a checking in, and because they're rappers, they got to check in. All these entertainers, whether it's LA, whether you go here or there, New York, and you saw what happened with the situation with Big U and all them, they was making people check in. So Memphis now, once they heard that, they were like, okay, the next rapper that comes into our town that don't check in, it's on site. And Sauce Walka just happened to be getting off the getting off the PJ right then. As soon as he hopped off the private jet, the people at the airport that worked there already texted the dudes in the streets. They live together. People from the hood work at the airport. So when they seen Sauce Walka touch down in the private jet, they already phoned and FaceTimed and messaged all their people saying, yup, I just seen so-and-so, boom, send them the pictures, zoom in, and everything like that, man. So I want to send my condolences and wish Sauce Walka to get well soon, and for the community to come together and so that they could change these ways so that people don't have to keep living like this, man. These dudes are going to end up getting a whole life sentence. And it's going to be an eye for an eye. The judge is going to throw a book at him. The streets is going to try to get him. And now they just rised up a whole entire uprising that people in Houston are not going to just sit back and let this slide. A lot of people on Sauce Walka's side is going to probably slide and ride for him. And so we about to find out as the updates come out.